Previously in the creative room.
Hello Soulmates, welcome to the creative room. Today we are going to be learning how to make a basic sleeve in its simplest form. Welcome to the creative room, Soulmates. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we'll be learning how to draft a gown block, a simple gown block. Alright, if you are meeting me for the first time also, my name is Olabi Omotola Henrietta, and if you are new to this channel, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the red notification bell so that once we drop videos, you'll get a notification. Thank you. So let's get started. Now as you can see, I already have my pattern paper marked out. Now here is my width and here is my length. Now for this gown block, the length I'll be working with is length 34, which I already have here, as you can see. Look at that, 34 inches, 34. And for my width, okay, for my width, I'll be using the biggest part of my measurements, and my measurement is the biggest part of my measurement here is my hip, which is a 39 inches plus 1 inch, and I'll be getting 40 inches divided by 2, that is 20. As you can see, that's 20 inches. So here as well, 20 inches. So after getting that, you are going to get the midpoint of the 20 inches, which will give us 10 inches. As you can see, 10 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches. So that is it. So now we get started. So we are going to be inserting our measurements. Now starting from the back width. Now the shoulder, for my shoulder, I have 8 inches. I'm going to mark my 8 inches here. As you can see, this is my center front and this is going to be my center back. So this is my back and this is my front part. So for the neck, since it's a basic gown block, it's going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. That's standard. So you can square it out as well in case you don't know how to get accurate curve. So you can square it out. So I'm going to be connecting that part to get our neck line. So drawing my neck. Like so. Now, I'll be dropping the shoulder for the front by 1 inch on this shoulder point. That's for my shoulder slope. So from that point, from that 1 inch point, I'll connect to the nape of the neck. Like so. So at this point, I'm going to be going over to repeat the same for the back. So the width of our back neck, so from here, this is where I'm going to be starting. This is my center back, not CB, sorry, not SB, CB. So I'm going to be taking the width of my center back, the neck, 3 inches by 1. That's a standard, 3 inches by 1. So I'm going to be drawing in that. Like so. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is taking my back shoulder divided by 2, that's 8 inches, and I'm going to be going down by 1 inch, like so. So you connect. Now don't forget, for your front shoulder slope, you could as well go down by 1.5 inch or 1.5 inch, or you make both equal. It depends. When I did the basic block, that's the bodice block, that was what I did. So if you have not watched, I'll be dropping the link in the description box so you can watch. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to get our chest line. Now, how do you get your chest line? Chest line is bust divided by 4 plus 1.5, sorry. Bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So for me, 8 works for this measurement perfectly. So from the slope here, I'm going to be marking down 8. From up here, it will give me 9, but from the slope here, it's 8. So I'm going to be connecting like so. Don't forget, from the slope, is 8, but from up here, it's 9. So your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. That gives you your chest line. So I'm going to connect. Chest line. So now that I've connected that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be inserting this shoulder measurement divided by 2 on the chest line as well. That's my 16 divided by 2. That gives me 8 inches. I'm going to mark. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing for this point. I'm going to mark and I'll connect with a straight line. Like this. Like this. So the next thing we are going to be doing is, at this point, I'm going to be inserting the other measurements. For the front, I'm going to insert the shoulder to nipple point measurement. That's shoulder to the bust point length. For this is 10 inches. I'm going to insert it here for the front. 10 inches. And I'm going to connect. Okay, so here is my bust line. And now the next thing I'm going to be doing is to insert my half length measurement. That's shoulder to the waist measurement. Now for this, I'm making use of 16. I'll mark like so. I'll come here as well and repeat the same thing. 16 inches, and I'll mark here as well. 16 inches. Then I would connect. I'm doing this step by step so that you understand. If not, I'll just mark it at once, but I want you to understand very well. Now, the next measurement up. So this serves as our waistline. Waistline. Now the next measurement I'm going to be inserting is the waist to hip, which is our hip depth. It forms our hip line. So for this, I'm going to be making use of 8 inches. So I'm going to mark like so, and I'm going to mark like so, and repeat the same here. Don't forget, we are working with the front and the back. It makes it easier. So I'm also going to connect. And this serves as a hip line, and here is the chest line. Okay, now that we have been able to achieve that, the next thing we are going to do here now is to get our armhole. Now, how do you achieve that? On this line, running down from the shoulder slope to the chest line, you get the midpoint. Now, my midpoint here is 8. So 4 is my full length here is 8. 4 is my midpoint. Here I have the same thing. So I'm going to be connecting like so. And then at the front here, I'm going to come in by 3/4 of an inch, which is 0.75. And I will go in by 0.5, that's half of an inch at the back. So then I'm going to connect to this point here. the shoulder point, and then I'll repeat the same thing for this part as well. So having done that, I'm going to connect this in a curve. So I'm going to connect like so, as you can see, and then I'll repeat the same for the back. I'm going to connect like so, and I have this. Now, having done this, I'm going to come and insert our dart. So how do you insert your dart? On the bust line, I'm going to mark my bust span divided by 2. My bust span is 8 inches. Divided by 2, I have 4. I'm going to mark it. Then I will come down at that point, come down by 1 inch. Then on the waist, then I'll check. You need to check to see if you're on the right track. Then on the waistline, I'll repeat the same thing. And then on the hip line, I will repeat the same thing. Then on the hip line, from my waist down, you see, on the hip line, I will go up by 2 inches, or I'll measure 6 inches for my waist. So when I go up by 2 inches, I'm going to still check if I have my 4 here. It's good to check and double check so that you get your pattern correctly. So I'm going to connect the point. Now on this line running down, on the waistline, I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides of that line from the waist point. Then I'm going to connect. So I'm going to connect my dart this way, like so. I'm going to connect like this, and like this. This is my dart. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. So on the chest line here, I'm going to get my bust span measurement, nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is my 4. Then I'll come down by 1 inch. As you can see, the back dart is longer than that of the front because here we have a bust line, but we don't have the bust line on the back. So here also on the waist, I'm going to mark my 4 inches, and here on the hip, I'm going to mark my 4 inches. And on the hip as well, I'll go up by 2 inches, or from the waistline, come down by 6 inches, as you can see. Then I will still double check to see if I'm on the 4 inches point, and it's correct. So I'll connect like this. Having done that, I'm going to put insert ½ inch on both sides of the line at the waist line, just like this. Then I'll connect. Okay, now that we have done this, it's time to insert our circumference measurement. Okay, now the first thing we are going to be inserting is our bust circumference divided by 4. Now the bust circumference divided by 4 is you are going to mark it on the chest line. Now I have, for my bust, I have 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 4 gives me 9 inches. So I'm going to mark my 9. Then on the waist, my waist is 29 divided by 4 gives me 7.25 plus 1 inch to cover up for my darts. And plus another ½ inch. Now I will tell you why I'm adding that ½ inch at the end of the day. So I'll come to my hip line and I'm going to take my hip divided by 4. My hip divided by 4, that's 39 divided by 4. Divided by 4 gives me 9.75. So I'm going to insert that. Then on the M, I'm going to deduct 1 inch, or 1.5 from what I have on my hip line to get my knee, because it's a basic gown block. You need it to be, in case you want it to be firm, but if you don't want that, if you want it to be the same as the hip, then you can measure what you have on the hip there. But if you want it to be a little firm at the M line, so you deduct 1 inch from what you have here. I have 9 3/4 here. That's 9.75. So on my knee, or my M, sorry, I'm going to be having 8.75. So I'm going to connect. Okay, this is the front. Please, for that part where I added ½ inch on the waistline, I added 1 inch to cover up for the waist dart. Then I added another half. Please ignore the half. It's not needed for the front. It's only needed for the back. So I added just 1. Then I'm going to be connecting in a curve to the hip. Then from that part, I'll connect to the M. So this is what I have. Then you through and blend. We don't have any sharpness in our body. No matter how slim you are still curvy. So like that. So this is for the front. Now for the back, we are going to be doing the back tightening to avoid puffiness at the back, to avoid unnecessary or unwanted puff at the zip area or anywhere around the back. So you can do 100% waist tightening or 50%. 50% is you take ½ inch in, and your 100% is taking 1 inch in. So I'm going to be doing 50% waist tightening. So that's ½ inch. I'm taking it in. So after which I'll connect back to my chest line, like so, and then I'll also connect this back to my hip line without touching the hip. Please note that you are doing this on the center back, not on the side seam back. This is the side seam back. So you are doing this at the center back where you have your zip and all that. So now we are going to be marking our circumference measurements as well. Now for my waist, I have 7.25 plus 1 inch for the dart, then plus ½ inch for what we took out for the waist tightening, for the waist, to tighten the waist. So the same thing, I'm going to come to my hip area and mark my 9.75, and then for the hem, I'm going to deduct 1 from my 9.75 and I'm going to insert 8.75. So I'm going to connect again. Okay, sorry, I've not taken the bust measurement. So for the bust measurement, for my 36, then 9 inches. So I'm going to connect. So you connect your hip, curve, and then you connect to the M. Like so. Then you through and blend. So, sorry, I'm going blend. So this is what we have. So this is our gown bodice. These are basic gown block. So I'm going to be cutting out this so you see how it's going to come out at the end of the day. Okay, so mates, this is what we have. So here is the back and here is the front. I have our back here and we have our front here. So there it is. Simple, right? So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also don't forget to put on the red notification bell so that you get notified when we post video. Thanks for joining me in today's creative room. See you next time. Till then, love you.